Hi every spirit, welcome very much to an Esoteric Cloud Surfer live tarot reading and astrology reading. And today we have the Sun in Taurus and Moon in Sagittarius. Sun in Taurus means we are paying attention, expressing more ourselves or acting in areas or in about ourselves that have to do, or we're expressing subjects, or we're paying attention to things, people, in places that have anything to do with fixed and consistent or stubborn, realistic, practical, fair, beautiful, and according to your personal core values, ways to obtain security, structure, privacy, and profit in more personal, more structured, more accordingly to your own personal values ways. And with Moon in Sagittarius, feeling the need to connect our individuality, to connect our creativity, our spirituality, our faith and beliefs, and our own personal testimonies in a mutable way without breaking our boundaries, without creating any weird feelings and emotions, because it's still the moon. So if you don't feel comfortable, you will not be exactly transmitting our spiritual accessories and our spiritual data. And we have very quickly a tarot card for this alignment, for Sun in Taurus and Moon in Sagittarius, and this is Spring, Princess of Pentacles. So this alignment, which is an inconjunction, a misunderstanding between wanting to act in a fixed, practical, beautiful, and private way versus needing to feel open, feel spiritual, feel a bit more deorganized, feeling the faith instead of the knowledge, and feeling comfortable to spread things that might not be real yet and will become real, or things that are real but are not seen as real, but you, through your wisdom and knowledge and through your testimonies, can see and know that it's real. But then you have to use Gemini energy, Mercurial energy, to actually make it make sense. But it starts now, feeling that passion, that vibe, that wisdom, that knowledge, that expansion, and that sense of travel, so you can bring your spiritual knowledge and wisdom into a practical circumstance that is profitable and beautiful. And Spring is exactly that, Princess of Pentacles. We have a new feeling, a new emotion, or a new internal travel that will lead us into more bountiful, beautiful, appealing, fair, private, abundant, and protected realms, rounds, ideas, or thoughts in order to be more profitable, to be more strategic, or to be more coordinated with our own core set of values, but in a new, more feminine, more enticing, more protected and abundant way. And how can we use that in the best way possible? Or how can we elevate ourselves through this alignment, through this new feeling of practicality? It makes sense. Lilac, fire dragon. So basically elevate your wisdom, elevate our knowledge, elevate the passion, the desire, the will to elevate, to grow, to know more, to look into spaces where things looked impossible, to look into spaces where things don't make sense just yet because there is in conjunction, a misunderstanding between the Sun and the Moon. So you might be looking at some spiritual things, but you see nothing because the Sun is in Taurus, so we are looking first and paying more attention to practicality, to structure, and to things that already make sense and that already work. And they might be feeling the need to be free, the need to be a bit more chaotic, the need to be a bit more mutable and more spontaneous and creative. But what you see is the world rewarding or going towards more safety, security, and material knowledge instead of spiritual knowledge. So you must keep that flame up, you must keep that wisdom up, you must keep that desire, that thought, that idea that is really connected to your personal spiritual path that you want to create into reality or change the reality around you in something that mirrors or matches that deep purple flame within you, the reason why you are alive. And there are different ways to do that physically. Of course, one spirit can have multiple different forms that represent its intention, its structure, and its archetype. So, now that we know about those energies, it's the Princess of Pentacles, new internal event that leads to more beautiful and bountiful places. And how do we actually do that, or how we do that in a good way? Lilac fire dragon, so a burning passion that transcends reality about yourself, about your personal spiritual path, and about your deep wisdom and knowledge. So it's all about that, you know, internal wisdom and knowledge, internal bountifulness, or whatever, internal structure, internal belief, internal safety. Okay? And let's see how the sun and the moon, especially the moon, are aligning with the rest of the sky. So, for example, we have we have Mercury in Aries. So it's a trine between the moon and Aries. So there is a gift to think, communicate, and analyze our emotions and feelings, our needs for spirituality, creativity, and exciting connection, conversation, or just sharing of spaces. But also, because it's a fire trine, there might be a gift to be too rashful, to be less logical, to be too dreamy, to be too illusional, to have very high hopes or very high imaginations for a conversation or a relation, but then what we're trying to convey is too spiritual yet, is too vague, is too much in the space yet. So when we actually try to talk, especially because Mercury is in Aries, it's all about creating new ideas that are about passion and frustration, and it's not about creating new, efficient, sufficient ways to communicate. But if you are a strong spirit, and if you're connecting with the right spirit in the right space, they will understand you, and you will understand each other, because that fire trine helps spirits see each other, and when spirits see each other, there is no need for words, or there is less need for words. You know what I'm saying? And also, it's a grand fire trine in the sky. Moon in Sagittarius, Mercury in Aries, plus Venus in Aries, and Mars in Leo. So there is a big opportunity, a big gift, I mean, not even an opportunity, because an opportunity you have to take it, you have to go there and do something. But the gift, a trine, it's already happening. You're already on the flow. So there is a gift, an easy flow of energy between our passions, motivation, anger, and frustration that we are going on in a fixed way. There is also a gift between that and our mind, thoughts, ideas, and ways to analyze and socialize that are about new feelings, new passions, and new frustrations, and the way that we are feeling or attracting or traveling, spiritually speaking, which is a bit more free, more mutable, and more about creativity and spirituality in itself. So we can be passionate about our feelings and emotions, and it can slip into our mind or into our words, or our mind can go very quickly into our feelings and emotions and then into our passions, or we can just feel more insecure, or just more attractive, or just feeling more in general, our passions and our mind. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much in general, that's what the Grand Fire Trine means. But just a Grand Fire Trine is a great spiritual time. So if you are on the right path for you spiritually, you're going to feel more motivated, more excited. You're going to be able to break reality, quote unquote, as in things that seemed impossible or that seemed very hard in the past, even today or yesterday. Now, even though you might not be able to see the full thing, you feel a bit more possible. Even though you don't see the way, you know there is a way. You know what I'm saying? Because fire is the first creation of the spirit. So from fire in the material realm, you can create anything. So if you have the fire, if you have the will, if you have the vision, the passion, the motivation, the frustration, the aggressiveness, you will be able to do anything. But because the sun is in Taurus, perhaps you were blocked by your own vision or by the world's standards. And now it's time to use our passions, our communication, and our feelings to create a new vision and a new reality that will down the line materialize if you keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Then we have also Moon in Sagittarius and Venus in Aries. So a gift to relate, to appreciate, to love and enjoy ours and others' feelings and emotions, dreams and illusions, and attractions and manifestations that come from or are about or around creativity, individuality, wisdom, knowledge, spirituality, testimony, faith, and belief. Then we have Jupiter in Gemini opposing. Now then we have Mars in Leo, but we already talked a little bit about that. But there is a gift to be passionate, aggressive, frustrated, or motivated in a consistent or stubborn way that goes from your ego and your self-image and self-confidence. And there is a gift from there to go real quick and share spaces with ours and others' feelings and emotions that deal with spirituality, creativity, faith, and belief systems. And then yes, we have Jupiter in Gemini opposing the Moon. So there is a big opportunity for clashing or for balance. Clashing because you're feeling spiritual, you're feeling connective with your feelings, with your expressions, with your creativity, and with your belief. But the way we and everybody in general is expanding is through logic, through mental association, through conversating in an efficient, eloquent, more developed, cold, and detached way about gossip, about things that are already here, about things that do with big organizations, with big events, with big sports. And Sagittarius is more personal. It's more about your testimonies, your lessons, your wisdom, what's cool for you, not what's cool in the world. So you might be feeling closed, or others might be feeling close to you if you are being logical and trying to expand conversations or relationships through that. Or you might be feeling closed if you are not able to synchronize your creativity, your wisdom, and your spirituality with the world and your surroundings in general. Because Gemini was born out of, quote unquote, from the third house. It was the first time we were really aware of Gemini. So it has everything to do with surroundings, your neighbors, your school teachers. Some people at school that they're not really your friends, but you know them. You know, that's the level of depth that Gemini brings. But Sag, it's about people or thoughts or feelings that went through you or came out of deep transformations or deep events or places where you were alone and a bit scared, but you came out of it and you formulated some thoughts and ideas, some wisdom and knowledge. Just the difference. But they can clash. So the expansion, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the travel, especially because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so our feelings and emotions can feel betrayed, like our family betrayed us, you know what I'm saying? But in the end, it's all about feeling that need for a more personal and spiritual connection versus expanding through less personal and less deep conversations and topics. But the balance point is exactly that. You can alleviate your feelings and emotions by associating yourself and your mind to some gossip or some more worldly stuff, and you can find the right words or the right connections to communicate and expand your creativity, spirituality, wisdom, and knowledge through a more logical and cold channel, or you can be more attractive or attract more stuff from a more cold and distant social world by feeling and attracting spirituality, wisdom, knowledge, and personal testimonies. So bringing that balance to a cold Jupiter, remind the areas where Jupiter is, Gemini and third house, of the Sagittarian fire, of the spiritual purpose, the spiritual connection. Because Sagittarius is an external spiritual connection, Gemini is an external mental connection. Pisces is an internal, even deeper spiritual connection. Virgo is an internal, even deeper external connection. So Moon in Sag can remind Jupiter of that. And then you can bring balance, bring the communication skills of Jupiter in Gemini to Moon in Sag, and bring the spiritual skills, purpose and excitement and freedom from Moon in Sagittarius to that more cold and communicative place of Jupiter in Gemini. Then Saturn in Pisces squaring Moon in Sagittarius. So we're learning how to feel more expressive, how to have more faith, more belief, and how to detach while keeping a connection, while keeping a spiritual intention or excitement from the world or from parts of the world that have to do or were built on mutable ways to share emotions and feelings, dreams and illusions, and deep purposes or deep travels. Because both Sag and Pisces are ruled by Jupiter, so they are both about expansion, travel, wisdom and knowledge. But then Neptune co-rules Pisces and Venus is exalted in Pisces. So Pisces is deeper in general and it cares more. It's more about the relation, more about the connection. So we're learning how to feel more Sagittarius-like, more light, more fiery, more expressive, about feelings and the emotions, connections, or structures that came from being mutable with yourself and the world, about your feelings, emotions, dreams, and illusions. So for an example, Saturn in Pisces is hard to describe, but things that deal with Saturn in Pisces, like religious organizations, governmental organizations, where they make people feel needy, or they make people feel afraid, or they make people feel there is no way but that way. So using a mutable emotional / spiritual environment to create and maintain structure. So with Moon in Sag, we're learning how to feel more detached, more happy, more faithful, more expansive, and more creative around those zones. Another more positive example of Saturn in Pisces is you building a circumstance, a structure, a network that allows your dream life, your dream desire, your dream routine and pattern to come into reality and make sense in a balanced way that still allows you to learn while building that structure. So maybe you're learning how to feel more comfortable in expressing that, or in seeing that, or in believing in that, or in being connected and open about those things with that Moon in Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? Next up, we have Moon in Sagittarius in conjuncting Uranus and Taurus, misunderstanding feelings and emotions of expansion and spirituality that are coming from places where how we obtain fixed structure and profit is changing or requires more uniqueness and individuality. Uranus in Taurus is like a good example is people bringing new ways of value or new ways to make money that is about being unique or communicating or showing value. So instead of being about the work, it's about you showing your personal value about something. And a lot of people are not keeping up with Uranus and Taurus. A lot of people don't understand how streamers make money or how crypto can work. And those are just examples. I'm not saying those are the right thing or the wrong thing to do. But now from those areas, from certain areas of technology that will or are already being a fixed part of how people maintain and gain access to structure and privacy, there might be some weird feelings, emotions, dreams, illusions, imaginations, wisdom, or knowledge being revealed or being aware of, and you might be misunderstanding certain things coming from those places of change that deal with structure, money, and privacy. Then Neptune is now in Aries, very, very fresh, so also trining this Moon in Sagittarius, so a gift to initiate grandiose dreams and illusions into your feelings and emotions in a more mutable and associated way. And lastly, but not least, Moon in Sagittarius, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius, an opportunity to feel more spiritual, to feel more faithful, to feel more creative and expansive in the new world, or in the new transformational process that is creating the new world, the new age of Aquarius. And what is that new world? A place where everybody is their own little shop, a place where everybody, at least if they want to and if they deserve, can have their own space to express their unique mind, their unique reality, and their own uniqueness and individuality in a way that it makes sense, that is fresh and applicable to the world, right? So instead of being big artists, or like these astronomical artists and astronomical industries, there will be more artists and more industries, but with less fans, with less supporters, but everybody else will be able to choose and create their own community. And a lot of those things already happen, for example, with content creators in the niche of gaming or tech, or even talking about the big industries. They are creating their own community, right? But that will be a step further. As deeper Pluto goes into Aquarius, the more and more we'll see the world changing into that aspect, even to the point of governments. So it's very likely, as Pluto goes deeper into Aquarius, that government will change, and instead of being like one president or one government for these whole countries, it will be more personal, more connected to the people governments, spread through the cities and towns that then all come together. That already exist in the form of city halls and town halls, but people are not really connected. It's not really unique, it's not really fresh, it's not really being efficient on a governmental and humanitarian point, which that will change in the future. So right now with Moon in Sagittarius and the Sun in Taurus, very important here, we have the opportunity to feel more creative, more opportunist, more expansive, and more excited about bringing fixed and practical actions, visions, and expressions to that new world that is still being built, because Pluto is still very early into Aquarius. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching this daily reading. Sun in Taurus, Moon in Sagittarius, misunderstanding between feelings of expansiveness and spirituality with actions and expressions of stability, structure, and consistency. Thank you for watching. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. See you on the next one.